It's time for episode 36 of Delivering Marketing Joy. This time we talk with Ted Coine, author of A World Gone Social, and he explains why we need more social and less media. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and I am really excited and flattered to be joined by Ted Coine. Ted is the author of A World Gone Social, How Companies Must Adapt and Survive. Ted's also a Forbes Top 20 Social Media Power Influencer, an Inc. Top 100 Leadership Expert, and an Inc. Top 100 Speaker. So flattered to have Ted a part of the show. Thanks, Ted.
My pleasure to be here. Please don't be flattered.
Well, again, I do appreciate it. You know, as I was doing some research about you, Ted, I came across a TED Talk that totally spoke to me. And it talked about the power of impatience. Obviously, a little bit of a turn on that. And I will tell you, man, you were speaking my language. So can you explain that to the folks who are watching?
Yes. Okay. My whole life I've been impatient, and there's been nothing I could do, like no business application for that. So finally, for the TED Talk that I spoke at, they said, okay, Ted, you're going last. And the people in the audience are going to be completely unable to pay attention to anything business related. Give them something that is funny and inspires. Done. And I'm like, oh, wow. I don't know how to talk about anything other than business stuff. I try. So I thought about it, and the thing is, the topic of the TED Talk was accelerators, things that, you add to business that makes, or it doesn't have to be business, but, that makes things happen faster, more dramatically. And I thought, what better than impatience? Because people don't actually accomplish anything by waiting. They accomplish things by getting just fed up and doing something about it. If you're an innovator, maybe you're not angry, but you're like, there's no way to think I'm beyond a how, right? You build a company around a product to solve a problem, or a service. If you're just anything, like if you are into, I'm very passionate about, social good, social causes. I think business is a good force for changing society for the better, right? For healing a lot of, society's problems. And so that's where I come at it. But, in my talk, I talked about Teddy Roosevelt. The guy was a political crusader. He was like, okay, listen, the robber baron world we live in with no protections for anybody, where, children are working in mines and stuff like that, this has got to stop. And he was impatient to bring a change. So he was impatient, but he wasn't, having a fitful tantrum. He was like, okay, I'm going to dedicate my entire life to this. I'm going to be relentless as well. The two of those together, and of course, without the good cause, never mind. So those are the three things, the three ingredients you need to make change worth making.
Yeah. And well, it was a really cool, because you hear about the power of patience all the time, and so I love that. And I'll be honest with you, I think people who make things happen are inherently impatient, and so I was really excited somebody was touting something that might be a positive for me. So that was exciting to me.
Thank you. Let me share something with you that I've received a couple of turtles, because in the talk I talk about how I really can't stand turtles. The funny thing is, I do love sea turtles; they're cute. But, because of the tortoise and the hair, that damn patient tortoise, no, it's a lie. Yeah. And we're operating under just a complete fraud. Our society's been misled.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's great stuff. I want to jump to your book, which is called A World Gone Social. I've seen where it's been called a handbook for dealing with social in business. What tips can you give folks to do social better in a landscape that's really changing so fast?
Thank you for asking that question. And it drives me crazy, because I've seen just a new study came out recently. I'm not going to talk about the source of this study, but it's a very respected source that put together a study on the social CEO, and saying that, so many more CEOs are social because they use video at work. To what? To broadcast? That's not social. Yeah, you're using technology. I mean, is there a phone on your desk? That does not make you a modern leader, right? So to be truly social, I mean, you can slice and dice it many ways, but it means to engage. It means to have a conversation. In our book, 12 different times, we talk about more social, less media. And the reason is, social media is not a tool that helps us broadcast our message at people. People don't want to be broadcasted at. We want to be spoken to and with. And, if somebody shares a blog post and you do that, you should be able to without, please, sir, may I, it's this whole like, you're important and I'm not type of dynamic that existed back in, the olden days. It's not the olden days. I personally have no room for that in life. I'm really glad we're living in a time when everyone's equal, and that's what social does. It brings our oracles from on high down to the human level. Right. It brings our supplicants up to the expert level, to have a communication. So that's what social is.
Yeah. It kind of has changed what, it's, as you mentioned, it gives power back to the people. And quite honestly, it's changed word of mouth, right? It's, everybody's always said word of mouth is the most kind of powerful kind of advertising. Well, it's brought word of mouth to scale. And, I think that can be really powerful in a good way for business and salespeople, so they can create good in their business, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. Social is word of mouth on steroids, shot out of a catapult, and that's really all it is. And the thing is, companies are really they want word of mouth referrals, but a lot of them are afraid of losing control of the narrative. Well, I'm here to tell you, the control has already been passed along.
Totally.
We lost control of the narrative as marketers, as companies. We can't spin. Since about 2008. People have been connecting with each other at such a level, that's why we call it the social age, because customers are talking to each other about your brand, whether you're participating or not. And what you tell them doesn't matter. It's what they tell each other. So you need to be the brand you want them to think you are. You can't just spin it. Mad Men, that show took place in the 60s. The 60s are over.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. It's funny, Ted, you said this because I literally had this conversation with somebody last week, and they were like, well, if we do this or we do this, then all of a sudden we open the floodgates for people to have this conversation about us. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to stop you right now. It's happening. Whether the difference is you're just not able to be a part of the conversation, and I think that's a big mistake.
Yeah, exactly. So, in the olden days, companies used to spend money on advertising. If something negative happened, they just spend more money to drown out the positive or the negative. Well, you know what? Today, there's a conversation going on, like we've been discussing, and at least companies are allowed a seat at the table. They're allowed to participate in the conversation. So the real trick, though, is to take a step back and not be the spinmeister, the wheeler and dealer and storyteller. Be the good company that people want to buy from.
Yeah.
And that goes far beyond, by the way, just the surface. Do we have a good product? Do we charge a fair price? Do we give adequate customer service? It goes to, do we treat our employees well? So that when our employees are talking about us, they are talking about us with pride. Rather than grimacing or worse. Are we showing them the example that, okay, this is how you treat people? We treat them well so that they treat our customers well. These are kind of basics. They're not new. They're kind of rare, and they're a business imperative.
No, that's great stuff, Ted, and I really appreciate you telling me. And I think it's a message that, quite frankly, we all need to hear. We want to be the kind of company that people want to tell others about, and that solves the problem of the worry, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Companies that are good actors, that are not just pretending, but that actually are, they are more profitable.
Yeah.
So Havas Media did a meaningful brands study. Does it? It updates it every year, and they find that companies that are more, more truly meaningful, that improve people's lives, not just sell them stuff, they're 133% more profitable than the companies that they compete against.
Wow,
If you want more money, be more socially conscious.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. Well, thanks, Ted. I mean, I always have my 3 questions, and you've certainly done a great job with them. I always give somebody an opportunity to ask me one. So do you have one for me?
Yeah, I do. So if you could sum up your business in a way that would help me to, and your audience, to talk about you and to spread your quick answer. How can Kirby help somebody's business?
How can Kirby help somebody's business? The term of this show has come is really how we started to tell that story. When people ask what we did, we said we deliver marketing joy. Because we said that we're a promotional products distributor, we're a marketer, we're a video production, we do a lot. But when that package of T-shirts lands on the doorstep, and there's a little slice of Christmas morning, and so if we do our job right, then they open the T-shirts and they're showing everybody. That's a little piece, but we can also do that through social. We can also do that through business or through video. And what we have learned internally is that, we got to make the customer experience really joyful too. Otherwise, it's just lip service. And so that would be, I guess, the story is that we try to deliver marketing joy every day.
That's awesome. And so besides just getting the job done, providing joy, I love that. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want that?
The world could use a little more joy. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Thank you, Ted. I really appreciate you being a part of the show and queuing me up with that fantastic question. And,
you're welcome.
And I appreciate it. And hey, let's do this again sometime if we could.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We shall see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching, but wait! Can you do me a favor? Please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done it already, the way to do it's right over here. And hey, if you want to watch the last episode, check that out over here. Again, before you leave, subscribe!